Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to introduce this next company and these next gentlemen, mostly because my world famous business cards are produced by my friends at Duplo. Um, it Not seeing them in your hands never does justice when you see special effects. But trust me when I tell you that there is nobody that I don't give this card to that doesn't stop dead in their tracks and say, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And it is because of Duplo. It is because of Diana, who really Diana Blanco, she made these cards happen on your new technology. And I just want to thank you so much for supporting me by creating these amazing business cards that I love handing out. So we are joined now. We're going to have a conversation about the bright and shiny future of finishing. And we have Anthony Gandara. Yeah, who's there with sitting probably where I would be sitting, looking through everything right now, not keeping everything as neat as he is on the table. And we have, he's the product manager, and we have Kevin Chen, who's also product manager of on-demand finishing, both from Duplo USA. Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation. Kevin, as long as you're here, let's just have a general conversation about finishing. Now, what is when you say on-demand finishing, what do you specifically mean by that?
So basically, when we talk about on-demand finishing, it's gonna be finishing after you print. So which means where you can take that stack of paper off of a digital press and just bring it over to a finishing device, where let it be a booklet maker, a spot UV coater, a die cutter, just different machines that we carry here at Duplo USA, where because not a lot of customers want to do inline because inline it does bring some problems. So if one machine goes down, it kind of clogs up the whole workflow. So what we've seen out in the field, more customers prefer offline rather than inline.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely, finishing is one of those things that printers love and they hate at the same time. Because it usually comes into the conversation when it's too late for them unless they discuss it up front. And one of the things that we started noticing as the presses got faster was that if you try to put it in line, you actually had to slow the press down, or the finishing could go faster than the press could, and you had to slow the
Mhm.
press down to make it happen. So I agree that there are some advantages to inline, but if you really just want to keep things moving, having it next to it, or sometimes attached. I've seen them attached too. So what is your how to what's the best way to for people to figure that out, and why should they always think finishing first, which they don't always do when they're looking at a press?
That's correct. Perfectly said, Deborah. So when it comes to inline, you are going to slow the machine down tremendously because unfortunately there's not a finishing device out in the market right now that's able to keep up with the speed of digital presses these days. I mean, some of these digital presses go up to 150 sheets per minute, and you got finishing solutions that only go up to 60, 70 sheets per minute. So you are slowing it down dramatically. But but when it comes to inline, or when it comes to finishing, the most important is what type of applications are you able to produce after you put it on a finisher. So, for example, we offer a wide variety of different types of finishing, which includes die cutting, spot UV, uh, different types of sheet sizes from 13 by 19s all the way to B2. So we do offer a wide variety of different finishing sizes and different versatilities as far as finishing goes.
So when it comes to specialty effects, especially when it comes to embellishments, um there's one train of thought that says you have to have the right customers in place to begin with before you start investing in this technology. And there's other people that say, no, invest in the technology and the people will come. Is there a right or a wrong way to think about that? Do you think, Kev?
There's really there's really no right or wrong when it comes to what part of either you invest before or later. It really There's really not a traditional way. Uh, Ultimately, what it comes down to is as an end user, it really depends on what type of finishing are they looking for? Are they looking for example, so we sell uh, our our DFL 500 traditional foil laminating machine. When it comes to finishing, what type of finish is the customer looking for? That's going to be the most important because the biggest misconception when it comes to traditional foiling is when we talk about traditional foiling, it's very challenging because you not only need specialty equipment, custom-made die plates, which are pricey, time-consuming to produce, and potentially useless once the project is completed. But for digital print shops, we're kind of taking that to a different level. So what we call sleeking. And sleeking is a finishing process that opens the door to customizable on-demand foiling without the need of producing one-off dies for specific applications. So unlike hot foil stamping, which uses heat dies to press a thin layer of foil onto surface and substrate, sleeking uses a special engineered foil that are designed to stick to, in particular, digital ink using thermal heat. So what we've seen out in the market is that that process has really taken off because what it really comes down to is people like to touch and feel.
You know, Duplo, like I said, when we first got into embellishment, we realized that it wasn't just selling specifications; it was more of selling the application. How do we utilize print embellishment to add value to the print and to engage the senses of the consumer so that they have a more impactful experience when they're handling the print? So, you know, with the spot rays UV, we're engaging the sense of touch. And then with our foils, definitely we notice, you know, especially during the shows, Print United, all those other expos that we do, the first thing that people get attracted to is the foil. So, you know, those print embellishments do add value to the print. And being able for customers to actually touch it and feel it is very important. So, you know, if you ever visit a Duplo booth at a show, we have tons of samples because the only way to sell print embellishment is to put it in the hands of the consumer, in the hands of the customer, so that they could actually feel it, touch it, and experience that piece. And again, you know, we're not just putting it, you know, a lot of people think of us just as business cards, but, you know, we do business cards, we do pocket folders. We try to show a wide variety of applications with print embellishment, such as packaging. Now we're starting to get into the packaging, digital short run packaging type applications. So definitely we do feel that, you know, print embellishment is going to add value to your print and allow you to generate more revenue or increase your margins based on being able to sell that value to the customer. So, you know, I think that's another important point is we got to learn to sell the value of print embellishment, not just talk about it, but how do we sell that? You know, many times customers that I do demonstrations for or show samples to, they'll say that they don't have the applications. But, you know, the reason I had the sample set up on the table is everybody has the applications. You just got to implement it and make it happen and give those to your customer. I think you mentioned, Deborah, one time during during some of the conversations is, you know, if a customer brings you a job, you run their job, but then give them a piece with embellishment, the same job, but just add some embellishment to that. and ask them, maybe the next time they ask for that job or their next job, they may consider to add that print embellishment to it. So again, it's really up to the consumer to decide what they want, and it's up to us to sell the print embellishment to the consumer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see print embellishment plays out in our industry. You know, once you see samples, get them in your hand, like you said, your business card. When you hand it to somebody, they just look at it and they're like, "How'd you do that?" You know, and a lot of these processes are all digital now. Like Kevin was saying, with the foil, we could run a sheet on a digital toner-based printer, take that to our foiler and foil that. So you don't need any special dyes or any special tooling. All you need is the printing press that you have now. Print something on there, run it through the cold or the hot foil unit, and that sticks to the toners. So it's very simple, very easy. Even with our DDC 810, the spot UV coater, you just need a PDF file of the spot layer, and that's it. It can't get any simpler than that. The technology's there. Just how do we get customers or printers to adopt these types of technologies to help them enhance and add value, create value to their print jobs?
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first person who's ever said this in the least, but certainly, there has been cases made where, a printer, if they're not ready to invest in equipment yet, to work with a trade finisher and build up the business, or just do some samples, show your customers what is possible, and work with trade finishers until you have a business model in place where investing in technology is the next step with that. Now, I know that you had some samples to show everybody, and I still want you to be able to, if you want to grab just a couple that you think are really important to this conversation, and then maybe let everybody know how they could get samples if they're interested in seeing everything that you can do.
Yes. So, Duplo, we create a bunch of samples. We got, like I said, we got creating new box packaging applications for the short run digital. We just introduced a entry level platinum die cutter, so taking existing technology, and we're just adding some updates to that, making it more simple to use. As we all know, and I've heard many people say that the workforce experience isn't there anymore. So we got to make those old technologies easier for the new generation to be able to use, make it simple for our employees to be able to run those machines. So that's what we're doing with the packaging side of it. We do business cards. We all talk about business cards. That's what Duplo does. We're really good at that. So, we got our business cards. So when I talk about embellishment, I'm not just talking about spot UV and foil. I'm talking about shape cutting. So shape cutting is another form of, I would say, embellishment, right? So we got boxes with shapes. So we're adding something even more value to that by creating a shaped box or something like that. So, there's a lot of things that we can do. Holographic foils, really make things pop. We have a pocket folder that has some holographic foil on there. And at this last show, everybody loved that pocket folder. So again, just adding all these little intricate little print embellishment features. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I always tell everybody, don't just put a blob of ink on a sheet of paper or a blob of spot UV. You'll create some texture, add some different features with the holographic foils or colored foils. That's what really makes a lot of your pieces pop. Like this Christmas card has different color foils on it. Then they put spot UV on top of that. So now they created a texture, they created the shine. Again, I think these are the things that I would like to see people to adopt these types of print embellishment. And like I said, it's not difficult to do. And I think if you add that value, the consumer, once they see it and get it in their hands, now they could see what that value is, and they'll be willing to pay for that. And again, we have to sell it. We can't let it become a commodity. I think that's one of the messages that I always try to talk to customer printers about is don't undersell the value of the print embellishment.
Yeah, I could not agree more with you on that. I think Kevin might still be having a little connection into issue. So Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. But you're absolutely right, Anthony. It should not be commoditized. This is something that makes print special. It's something that the customer should be able to choose by themselves. Do they want it to look one way, or do they want it to look another way that will attract more people to it just by virtue of it being more interesting, more dynamic? It's certainly an attention grabber. I've heard so many times the packaging people talk about shelf shout, and that happens when you're walking through the store and something glistens in your eye, and it's a shiny label, or it's something that is really standing out with textures and embellishment. So thank you so much for making the world a more beautiful place, and for really sharing about the bright and shiny future of finishing. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back with our next session shortly. Thank you. And please thank Rick for me too.
All right. Thank you.